Here's round two, by the way. So if you're wondering the options, if you did not want to take Puka Nacua there at 11, Brian Thomas Jr. kicks off round two to Kyle Dvorak. Then you have Derrick Henry, Brock Bowers, Bucky Irving, Drake London. Now, do you think the combo is, would you take both BTJ and Drake London if you wanted a receiver over Puka at this point? Because we know the volume both of those guys are guaranteed.
For sure. Listen, the anti-Brian Thomas Jr. argument, and again, you're nitpicking at this high level. The argument against him is merely like a lot of his production last year came with Mac Jones, and we don't know the impact Travis Hunter is going to have on this. But I think certainly there is absolutely an argument to be made for Nico Collins over Puka, for BTJ over him, and even Drake London. Yeah. Again, they're all right there. They're all alpha wide receiver ones.
Yeah, my concern with Brian Thomas Jr. is he's the only guy in this mix where I'm not 100% sure he's the wide receiver one on his own team. That's a concern just with the variance around Travis. BTJ's going to be fine. He'll throw a lot. They'll get volume. But just do worry that there are worlds where Travis Hunter gets, 1,200 receiving yards.
Absolutely.
And he's playing 80% of the snaps, which Liam Cohen said that he would. So that would be the concern there. Your man Ian Harditz on Twitter a while ago, he tweeted about just Jonathan Taylor and the fact that if anyone is in line to have the season that Saquon did last year, where it's of course he had this incredible season where he flirted with 2,000 yards. If you look at Jonathan Taylor's past 17 games when he's been healthy, it's almost 1,800 rushing yards, 15 total touchdowns. He was a monster down the end of last season. I wonder if we just get to the end and say of course Jonathan Taylor was a tough running.
Well, here's a couple things. First off, Ian Harditz is an amazing follow on social media at iHarditz. At iHeartIt. Unbelievable follow, and obviously we love him at FantasyLife. He does a great job for us. To me, it's both sides of that coin, though, right? That Jonathan, there's absolutely amazing talent, breakaway speed, run-heavy offense, play indoors, not a tough division. There's no scenario that we've seen it before, right? I mean, if a year from now, if we're sitting here wow, Jonathan Taylor, number one running out of fantasy, that's not crazy. That's certainly within the range of outcomes. The concern here is the same concern that we had with Saquon last year, which is that he's not really been involved in the passing game. They don't throw to the running back all that much, and that he does have competition at the goal line from his quarterback, whether it's Richardson or Daniel Jones. Obviously they're not Jalen Hurts, but both those guys, I think last year were top 5 in terms of designed quarterback runs inside the 5-yard line. They're both goal line threats. So then the answer is, that was the issue with Saquon last year that we talked about. And, oh, by the way, we were right. He did get vultured to the goal line by Jalen Hurts. They didn't throw to him that much. It ended up not mattering because he kept breaking off these 60-yard runs that make your weekend, that make your week on one play. And Jonathan Taylor has that kind of upside. He can, but that's what you're banking on. And that's why it's a narrow thread that you got to hit there.
I'll add to that. Don't forget, too, Tyler Warren can actually eat into Jonathan Taylor's touchdown equity. Yes, he caught 8 last year, and that's a different conversation. He also ran for 4. So is there a world where, hey, we're actually going to try the tush push at the 1-yard line with Tyler Warren, even if you're okay, now Anthony Richardson's out, Daniel Jones is in, who's a viable runner, but he's not Richardson's body type to move the now it's Tyler Warren time. So I get it, the argument with Jonathan Taylor, and it's totally valid. But there is also a side to it. Is this offense effective enough that he's great? And then 2, is there some sneaky touchdown equity problems there where he to be number 1? Not a top 5 running back, but to be number 1 or 2.
I think he's going to have a monster year. Yeah. And it's certainly within the range of outcomes. But it could also be we could look up and he's just he's running back 12 or, 13.
He's also, he has dealt with injuries the past 3 years. And it's not there's a single one, but it's all these little things ankle, broke his thumb, just a lot of random stuff, which you don't love. I do think that, a big kind of push-pull with these elite running backs who have running quarterbacks is that, they get touchdowns stolen from them, but who were the 2 best running backs in football last year? Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry. Their quarterbacks both run.
That's fair.
I think it is so valuable to have a guy who can run to drag a man out of the box. The issue with the Colts is that Jalen Hurts and Lamar Jackson, they can throw it down the field.
Right.
I'm not sure anyone on the Colts can.
That's exactly right. There's a threat there where you have to play back. And so, I mean, we've done studies over the years in terms of fantasy, and generally speaking, running backs that have mobile quarterbacks that run, tend to do better, right? Because they do the RPOs, and you got to keep a linebacker spy, and you can open up more running lanes. And to your point, whether it's Lamar or Hurts, you have to respect Zay Flowers or A.J. Brown or that passing attack. So you're going to see empty boxes a lot of the time. they are going to have to. Anthony Richardson or Daniel Jones is going to have to be enough of a threat down the field that there's some empty boxes for Jonathan Taylor, or lighter boxes, I should say. But yeah, I mean, listen, I do think it's good value where he got him at the end of round 2.
Speaking of round 2 running backs, Chase Brown, Matthew, recently moved ahead of both Jonathan Taylor and Josh Jacobs in your rankings.
Yes, sir.
Eric Samolsky takes him here at pick 20, right after we saw Bucky Irving and Devon Achane go in front of him.
Love the value of Chase Brown. I think there's an argument to be made that at the end of the first round you can take Chase Brown, right? He saw 95% once he became the starter in week 9, 95% of the touches, 95% as well, and produced at a massive level, produced at a top 4 fantasy running back level, and so. No competition for touches, no competition at the goal line. They're not running Joe Burrow, they're not running the tush push with Joe Burrow. So when they get in close, it is going to be Chase Brown. He's a good pass catcher as well. It's an explosive offense. It's an offense that's going to be in scoring position quite a bit. And so massive volume, talent on a good offense. I feel better about him than Jonathan Taylor. I feel better about him than Josh Jacobs in terms of just pace of play and explosiveness.
Yep. The one thing with Chase Brown, I don't have any aversion to Chase Brown going where he's going. The one thing is that the 3 offenses last year that had the highest pass rate over expectation in the red zone. So when you get in close, are you over-indexing on running or throwing? The teams that threw the most are the teams that had Patrick Mahomes, the team that had Joe Burrow, and Aaron Rodgers, who kept on checking into pass plays at the goal line, which I thought was hilarious. But they throw the ball a lot when they get in the red zone because you got Jamar Chase and T. Higgins at the same time.
And why wouldn't you?
Yes, exactly. So that is the one pushback against Chase Brown. He's probably not going to get the ton of red zone work that you would hope that, a top 10 running back would get. But again, very high floor, no real playing time threat whatsoever.
On the back end of round 2, Denny Carter takes Ladd McConkey, wide receiver 12 for you, Matthew. Does Keenan Allen landing there do anything to Ladd McConkey's value?
I was going to ask you the same question. My take is that he does not.
I agree.
That again, they love McConkey. He's taken that over. To me, Keenan Allen re-signing there is more about we have Quentin Johnston, who has struggled so far in the NFL. We've got Trey Harris, who is unproven. We've got KLS, 5th-round pick that we think we found something, but also unproven.
Mike Williams retired.
Right, Mike Williams retired. Josh Palmer is now in Buffalo. We have Justin Herbert. And so, by the way, even McConkey, as much as we like McConkey, second-year player. So, hey, here's a guy that knows the organization, that knows the city, that's a veteran player, that can be a veteran leader in that room and help move the chains. Obviously has a connection with Justin Herbert. There's no hey, nice to meet you. They played together for years and years and years. And so I think it's more about the rest of the depth on the team than it is about Ladd McConkey.
It feels like comfort food for them, where it's we know we have in Ladd McConkey. We're excited about him. But after that, they're kind of high variance, right? QJ is a very high variance player. Trey Harris, I love Trey Harris in college. He was hurt a lot of last year. He'll make a spectacular play for Jackson Dart, and then he's a guy also that doesn't always separate all the time. So it just feels like, Jay, this was more of a let's increase the floor of this room, especially after a veteran retired on us. Yeah,
I think the concern for the Chargers' pass game overall is just that, they want to run the ball a ton, and everything they did in the offseason spoke to that. Take Amari Hampton in the first round. You sign a name running back in Najee Harris in free agency. Obviously, Rashawn Slater going down hurts their ability to run the ball, but that's what they want to do. That's what Greg Roman and Jim Harbaugh want to do. I just don't think it matters because Ladd McConkey is going to get all the passing game work. I just think it means that, there's probably only going to be one Chargers receiver that tops 800 receiving yards, but it's going to be Ladd McConkey.
Real quickly on McConkey, I'm just curious, because coming out of college, we all liked him out of Georgia, but this was a guy that was not a full-time player. And I think the thought was he's going to be a nice role player in the NFL, but we never saw it at Georgia. Are you surprised at how much McConkey? I remember you liked him. I have him on my dynasty team because you talked me into him. Yeah. And so thank you for that, by the way, because I do these dynasty leagues, right? We do it before the NFL draft, which is insane. My dynasty league, we do it before the draft. And so I haven't had a chance to study all these guys. So when I go to that specific dynasty league draft, I'm literally just yo, Connor. And we've done well the last 2 years.
I was going to say, we've had a couple good drafts.
We've had Tyrone Tracy is yours, Ladd McConkey. So we've had some good hits. But my question to you is, on McConkey, are you surprised at how much he's become a superstar because I think the thinking out of college was this is going to be a nice slot player, a nice role player.
Is a little fast for anyone, right?
Sure.
I mean, this is somebody that was an excellent separator inside and outside of college.
Yeah.
You don't see a lot of guys that size that also consistently went outside. Obviously, you prefer him to be in the slot. But also it was Georgia. Georgia's a powerhouse on defense. They can always run the football. They also had Brock Bowers there at the same time. He didn't need to be Superman in that offense. He just kind of was more of a timely plays kind of player. So it feels like somebody where it's actually his best football is ahead of him at the NFL, which is not very common.
So my last question is...
He's a great talent.
He's a great... So you don't think last year was a fluke?
Not at all.
That he
He's
was
an
the
elite
only
athlete.
guy in town, so that it was just, but he's a legitimate...
When you're a high-end athlete, you're a top-line separator, and you always catch the ball, you will succeed at the NFL level.
Especially when you have a quarterback like Justin Herbert.
And you're in the right offense where the quarterback can get the ball to you. So obviously he got a big boost going from Georgia's pass game to an NFL passing game, and we're seeing him kind of reap those rewards.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and Rotoworld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Rotoworld fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.